It's always some huge comic, and maybe, Jim Jeffries or somebody like that. You're lucky enough to get one, and with your talent, or go on another great comic. So Eddie Izzard gets his shot to do his first HBO special, his first chance to be seen by the United States and break out in this country. And he has a chance to do that, and he can do it any way he wants to. So what does he do? He rolls out in a fucking dress, high heels, and makeup. And that's how fucking confident he is in his message and his words and what he has to offer, that he believes in his heart that he's going to go on and do that. And the people in the most prejudiced and unbelievable homophobic states and areas of the country are going to rally around him. And you know something? He was so brilliant that after 5 or 10 minutes, America forgot about the fucking dress and listened to the words. And in the industry forgot about the dress, listened to the words. He booked acting job after acting job. He sells out arenas. He did Madison Square Garden. And he's constantly evolving, and he doesn't have to wear a dress now, or he can do whatever he wants to do, or however he wants to do it, because the material is so great and unique. And yes, at the Universal Amphitheater, yes, he got picked off by Brad Williams. Yes, he did.
He kind of got picked off by everybody because he went on last.
Yeah,
Jim Jeffries went up and did Whitney Houston's dead jokes and pedophilia jokes. Jim Jeffries is tough to follow, man.
Yeah. So, which is another thing also in one of those big events, they normally put the guy who's the biggest draw last. And a lesson to anybody, if you're a comic who's the biggest draw ever, do not allow yourself to be put last on a benefit show. It's going to sell out anyway. Go on whenever the fuck you want to go on. And don't go last, because you will never have the best set going on last when there's 8 comedians going on. It's impossible. That's my advice for comics who are...
You also said to me, can you imagine on your first Comedy Central special if you came out in a fucking dress, man?
That's right.
Nobody would have known what the fuck you were talking about. Blue eyeshadow, and you're like, yeah, your dog has no tail or something. This guy's in a fucking dress. It would have been, you never would have worked again, man. So basically telling me, you're no Eddie Izzard.
I did not say that.
Eddie Izzard was so talented.
I did not say that.
You didn't have to. You said to me, Eddie Izzard was, you just said it now, so talented that nobody even realized he was wearing a dress because his words were so incredible. And then you said to me in my dressing room at the show, you said, can you imagine if you came out in a dress on your special? It would have been a disaster.
I was talking,
No, but you're right. Hold on, I'm letting you off the hook.
Okay.
You're right, because what I was doing at that time, there was no message. I was a hack from way back. I'm up there having sex with the stool.
The rapping cow.
I was doing a rapping cow and, doing, massage jokes and, prostate exam stuff. So you were right. There was no message or super cool words. And Izzard is a guy with a message.
But Eddie Izzard, I will say this. If he just did a stand-up and that's all he was doing, he might have the life of like a Stephen Wright. But the chances are he might not. And the odds are, as we found out in this podcast, that he probably won't. But if you book significant acting jobs like he's been able to do and do a great job where you're a respected actor, you're always going to have a place and a career. And I always say this to comics. I said, if you want to really prove if you got what it takes to be an actor, stop taking money doing comedy gigs now and see how long you'll last making money as an actor. Because if you had to make money as an actor, you'd probably be homeless right now. And you got to figure out how to make an equal amount of money. Not true. Not true. And I actually am one of the few people who knows that.
I would live in a much different house.
I would say that you...
That's safe to say. I'd be in the San Fernando Valley.
It is safe to say that, in my opinion, you in your career have been 50-50 easily, stand-up and acting. And probably you've made more money as an actor than you have as a stand-up.
You know what I find exciting? One of my favorite quotes, I think it's Cesar
Ronce.
It's from Ronce, said, the greatest joy in life is to begin. And I feel, since we got the podcast up and running, and you and I hashing it out, and really getting our hands dirty, and how this shit works, is I now feel like I have so, and I don't want to sound douchey, but it's just you and I talking, and we forget there's 250,000 people with earbuds in going, ugh, what a creep. I'm just talking to my manager and my best friend Barry, who gave the toast at my wedding. I am certain, right now, I have 1,000% more to offer as an actor than I ever did at any time in my life. I know that if I can get in there, like Burt Wonderstone, I fought for that role because of this podcast. And when I went for that Aaron Sorkin thing, which I didn't get, but I created a problem. And I got the material at 9 o'clock the night before, and my audition was at 9 in the morning, and it was pages and pages. And I said, I'm not fucking going in on 24. And then I remembered us talking, and I went, damn it, Katz. Now I got to go do it because I got to put my money. I have to walk, but I was talking.
Create a problem.
So I'm excited now, like working with Chris Columbus on that pilot. Like, I really feel like we're right. It's almost like the second act is beginning, and we're right up against doing some really big, great stuff. You can't make opportunities, but when the opportunities are there, you got to know they're there and you got to kill it, like Brad Williams did at the Improv. And like when you go in for Burt Wonderstone and you go, holy, this is a Steve, we never talked about this on the podcast. This is a Steve Carell, Jim Carrey movie, Steve Buscemi. Like James Gandolfini is like 6 on the call sheet. Like Tony Soprano is way down on the call sheet. Like Olivia Wilde and everybody's in this movie. Alan Arkin is 10 on the call sheet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I went in for that role, and it's a small role, and it's just one of those things of how hard do you want to work to have literally 11 sentences in a movie.
It's an important role. Sometimes small roles are very important. And what's that old expression?
Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are.
And also, there's no such thing as little roles, only
little. Yeah, but that was said by Peter Dinklage.
Only little people.
Peter Dinklage said that.
And Brad Williams.
Which made it so strange, that the fact that we can trace it back to Warwick Davis, said that right before he filmed Willow. There are no small roles. There are only small actors.
Remember the old story about Shelley Winters? The director wanted her to audition. And again, she had such a feeling about who she was. She walked into the guy's office and she pulled out both her Academy Awards out of her pocketbook and slammed them on the director's desk and said, "There's my fucking audition."
Ugh. Shelley Winters, when you watch A Place in the Sun with Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor, I can't wait for him to fucking beat her brains out with the canoe oar because she's so annoying. Then when he finally fucking brains her with the oar, I'm like, thank God, that voice. What are we doing? Why are we in the middle? And Montgomery Clift just stands up and beats her fucking brains out and drowns her. And then I'm like, yeah, go to Elizabeth Taylor's house. Get some of that, dude. You know what's up, Monty. Yeah, so that audition, Don Scardino, who directs a lot of 30 Rock, I went in and it was a small part to play Rick the Implausible.
That's right.
And there was also a big cat magician whose name was, I think, Lucius Belvedere. And it's a small part. And I went in about 3 times. And in the past, you always ask me, there's one movie, I'm going to ask you if you remember it, when you said they want you to go in again. And I said, fuck that. They said that was the last time I had to go in. And you said, if this movie goes on to be a hit, is it going to bother you if you're not in it? And I told you no. And you know what? I was wrong. It bothers me.
I know it bothers you, and we've never talked about it.
Never have?
We've never talked about it.
It would have been a game changer for me.
And this was a movie that...
Look at Matt Cohen's like, what the fuck? That movie was Red State by Kevin Smith. I said, I'm not going in again.
Why don't you talk about this? Because this is another amazing story about where, again, if your ego can get in the room.
I don't think we're talking about the same movie.
You'll see. Go.
All right. You tell me the movie.
Were you? There was there was Blue Streak.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Martin Lawrence and me were 2 cops. It went to Luke Wilson,
but it wasn't with Luke Wilson. I want to just take you through this because this is amazing. Because there's stuff that you might not know and you may know. I know you know, but you might have forgotten. But for comics out there, this is an incredible situation that happened. So Luke Wilson and Jay Mohr are represented by who? Well,
Nick Stein at ICM.
And where were you?
New York.
No, who were you represented by?
Wait, you just said we were represented by the same guy.
Luke Wilson and Jay. Who were you represented by back then?
Nick Stein.
And who represented Luke Wilson?
I have no idea.
Nick Stein.
Okay.
Okay, so he represented Luke
So
Wilson.
we're the same agent for the same movie.
That's right. And so Jay...
Like me and Dane on Mr. Brooks.
That's right. That's
Both
another,
had Barry Katz submitting us.
That's another story.
No, I'm fine with it.
until 10 podcasts later, Barry, I'm not fine with it. And let's talk about that movie.
Look, if I was supposed to have gotten that, if they really thought I was the best guy, they would have. Look, I stand by my audition. I'll put that audition on a shelf.
That's another situation.
Forget about it. Let's go to Blue Streak. We already talked about that in another podcast. Because this is a good Blue Streak. We're rounding third here.
Okay.
But you know what? Why don't you give Luke Wilson some money? Go to jmoore.com, click the Amazon link, and buy Blue Streak. And you can see all the jokes I could have done in a major motion picture.
So just talk first about your audition and what happened.
I don't remember specifically my audition, but I do remember I went in twice to audition for, it was a Martin Lawrence movie. He was the headliner. And there was two cops, black cop, white cop. And I went in and I killed it. I don't really remember the particulars. I just remember it went so well that when I was surprised they wanted me to come in again because I knew how hard I hit it the first time. And I went, oh, okay. And I thought it was a little weird, like, come in and do that. But people listening, when you come in again, usually it's just because there's other people that they go, no, you got to come in and see it. It's really great. It's good when you come in again. It's not, that was the fatal flaw, was my ego going, fucking again? I killed it already. You filmed me killing it. Yes, but they want to show their superiors. They want to show you off. They want to take that thoroughbred out of the gate and walk him around the paddock and go, I told you this one's got the biggest dick out of every horse here. This is the horse, not that other horse. Look, just bring the horse back out. And the horse goes, I don't want to come out. That horse doesn't get the fucking run that day. So I went back out and I auditioned again. I flew to New York because I was doing like Caroline's on Broadway. And they said, before I went in the second time, come in one more time and you'll never have to come in again. It's just a formality, really. You killed it, and we just need you to go in front of the studio. So the second time I went in was in front of the studio. I fly to New York. I'm about to do Caroline's. I get a call from you and Nick Stein, and they say,
but before that,
they need you to go in a third time.
But before that, after you did the second time, we got the word that it's yours. You've got it. They love you. We just got to work out the deal. It's going to be great. Congratulations. There's just a few formalities we have to go through. It's all yours. Don't worry about it. And it's great.
I don't even remember that.
Yes. And so then we got the call, and I talked to Nick Stein first, and he says, Barry, I have this information because my client is also Luke Wilson, and I got him into the audition in L.A. with Martin. With them in L.A. And now Martin's manager or management, he said that way. I don't believe it. It could have been something else. Said he wants to read with both people and make a decision. And we called you and told you that, and you said,
absolutely not. They told me it was mine. It should be mine. I got to fly back to L.A. and do a chemistry read with a guy that's a comic. I'm a comic. This should be hand in glove. This is absurd. Absolutely not. They told me it was mine. They told me I had the job. I'm not going back in.
And then Jay gets off the phone.
You said.
And Jay, when I said what you just said. I said, listen, Jay. Actually, I didn't say that then. You got off the phone. You were upset. You hung up the phone. And I'm on the phone with Nick Stein. And Nick says, Barry, I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't go to L.A., I mean, his chances of getting this are pretty slim because when a guy goes in and meets and schmoozes like Luke's going to do, he's probably going to get the gig. Do whatever you can and let Jay know that. And I called you up and I let you know that. And again, you fought me on it. And then I said that thing that you just said. I said, you have to make a decision that I'll be fine with. If this movie makes $100 million, $200 million, and you're not in it, are you okay with it? And you said, yes, I am. I'll be totally fine with it. And I never thought that you would be, but maybe you thought that you would be.
I was positive I would be, but let me tell you something. That movie didn't make $100 million. That movie made
yes, it
maybe...
did.
No, it didn't. Absolutely not. I'd say that. I'll look it up right now.
Look up the...
Hold on. But my point was going to be, that movie made $40 million and I'm upset with it.
Okay.
My point was it made less than what we projected, and I'm upset with it because...
Look up the the-numbers.com and type it in. The-numbers.com.
Can you do it, Cohen, while we talk? Thank you. But here's the thing. I'm upset with it because it's not until now where I can sit across from you and go, I don't like that particular behavior.
Worldwide, it made 100
All
million.
right, Katz, you made your point.
Right?
Barry